I was going to write a piece about how Candace Owens is a hypocrite while at the same time criticizing hoochie mothers who post photos of themselves on Instagram with almost no clothing on. She claims that they do it because women are addicted to the rush of dopamine that comes with receiving male attention, but that it does not make them happy because she is already high on dopamine. She believes that this is the reason why they do it. She finds it easy to dismiss the idea of being empowered. The economy today is based on people's attention. To tell someone who isn't getting any attention what junk food to eat when she is eating steak is analogous to telling someone who isn't getting any attention what junk food to eat when she is eating steak. And while I do agree that not all attention is equal, telling them to strip for clicks is like that. The vast majority of women are unable to attract large audiences or attention in the manner in which Candace Owens does by putting enormous words into their own mouths. They typically attract the most attention to themselves by either dangling their bodies in front of themselves or putting the male part of the insect in their mouths. Like a steak on. The way Candace Owens sings makes me think of opera singer Winfrey. People of white race generally have a favorable opinion of her because she is witty, serious, and nice. On the other hand, I think her points are ridiculous, such as when she asserts that these women will not experience happiness as a result of receiving messages from men. Where did this woman come from? On every other planet, women were meant to be the focus of attention. In most cases, they will settle for negative attention even if positive attention is available to them. Essentially, they want to have the experience of being needed by others. Apathy is the single most detrimental trait for women to possess. When you're 85 and sitting in an old age home with Hatfield, Depends, and dentures, every woman's worst fear is being treated as if they don't matter. This is the kind of treatment that every woman fears. In a moment, I'll go into more detail about what Candace Owens considers to be the problem that women face in today's society. There will be no room for men on the left side of the bed with the women. Be a man and a feminist. Don't be a female feminist, the conservative who doesn't realize that she's addicted to dopamine, and the clown who operates on a global scale. Dopamine is a powerful drug that our bodies produce to encourage us to perform more of the behaviors that are necessary for survival. Dopamine-inducing activities have traditionally been seen to be beneficial in terms of gaining attention from others who would elevate your rank in the hierarchy that would, of course, boost your seed's chances of being bred and distributed. As a result, nature rewards you with dopamine by releasing it. Dopamine-inducing activities have traditionally been seen to be beneficial in terms of gaining when you develop meaningful relationships with. Candace Owens caters to a conservative audience that despises those on the left and believes in the stereotype of the untapped tattooed lady who wanders off to make sandwiches in a sundress as you strip her. This audience also believes that Candace Owens is attractive. However, you get the distinct impression that she was a virgin when she kissed you with her white skin, or in the case of Candace Owens, her black skin, and she makes sexist remarks about the way women look. Despite this, she is wearing a skin-tight black top and a sweater with a low cut that appears to reveal some of her cleavage. Her outfit is all black. Why was she dressed in such a conventional manner? Of course, it stands to reason that she is directing her criticism toward talking women who bring shame on themselves by wearing almost nothing at all. She asserts that the kind of men who are drawn to such women only want to have sexual encounters with those women. However, a significant number of those women are using those men as attention-seeking Sims in order to benefit themselves. She is correct that soy society is unhealthy, but she ignores the fact that technology is fueling dopamine addiction out of the process. Either reproduction needs to be reorganized or the process needs to be stopped, so we can keep getting our dopamine fix. They are unaware, however, that traditionalism is sinking faster than the Titanic and that the more churches close and people cling to their phones, the more traditional values are being lost. The more people will start to drift apart from one another. The congregation is praising God at the altar of the church, and they are carrying all of the church's apps in their pockets. That Steve Jobs was the most successful drug salesman in the history of the world is almost certainly going to be his most important legacy in the centuries to come. Because we are so enamored with our newly developed technologies at the moment, we simply are unable to see it. Candace goes on a rant in the video, blaming the teaching of feminism in schools and claiming that you are supposed to see patriarchy everywhere as the result of a woman wanting to come out for a price. If you ask a feminist about outsiders, they will tell you that equality is the most important factor to consider. Even when she is arguing that first-wave feminism was acceptable and that women having the right to vote was a positive thing, she admits that this is the case. It would appear that many traditional conservative women support the idea of preserving all of feminism's accomplishments. They went all the way up to the 1907 mark before stopping. However, due to the fact that they are like trainers who play casino card games, they don't want to take any more chances. We are aware of the appropriate time to call it a night and collect their earnings. When Candace asserts that the first wave of feminism was about assisting women in leaving the house and entering the workforce, she is providing an inaccurate description of the movement. It is true what she says. This didn't take place until the second wave of the feminist movement. Feminism helped foster the idea that conventional roles for women, such as working outside the home rather than staying at home, when it encouraged women to do so. She asserts that the primary objective of the first wave of feminism was to grant women the right to speak their minds. On the other hand, the second and third waves of feminism are centered on the idea that feminists should make choices for women about how they should live their lives. In addition to this, she asserts that you cannot reason your way out of your biology. I have to respectfully disagree with you. It appeared that MacDonald was successful in accomplishing this. As soon as we entered the first and second stages of the Red Pill's wrath, she began to strongly dislike going into town in the same way that most people do. Your most damaging insult would probably be if she claimed that feminism is something that can only be practiced by men. She would have a hard time explaining why the left, which supports it and despises it in the same way that the right does, despite the fact that the left lacks institutional power in schools and governments, she also encourages women to remain enthusiastic about men rather than hating them. Of course, the goal would be to convince conservatives that it was on the same side as feminism, but she would have a hard time explaining why the left supports it and despises it in the same way that the right does. The argument that men of today are bad because traditional masculinity is being portrayed as outdated. It is abundantly clear that she has never held a job in a field where men predominate, such as the construction industry, where she could have gained an appreciation for the fact that masculinity is by no means extinct. Perhaps she will learn the truth when she visits her neighborhood grocery store and notices that the shelves are bare as a result of anti-vaccination activists. She also asserts that feminism is ineffective on the grounds that it teaches women to behave in a manner that is diametrically opposed to what men want in males, but results in women who are not the type of women that men want to be with. Also, there aren't enough other ladies out there, which suggests that it isn't desirable to bring women home to one's mother. Many men in today's society find that these women have physically appealing bodies, but they do not see them as potential partners for starting a family with them. That is a point on which we can agree to disagree. That particular type of woman can be found just about anywhere. When she made the statement that men should take charge at that point in the video, I was no longer interested in what she had to say. Candace is also mistaken when she says that a man does not want a woman who will be naked all the time for all men to view between the years of approximately 2014 and 2015. Isn't a problem, unless it involves activity or erotica. However, it is women who give intimacy away too easily in order to try and tie down a man that pose a threat to society as well as to themselves because they may then try to prove their conservatism, goodness, and virtue. These women are the ones who are a threat. To single out feminism as the source of all evil in the Bible is to have all the solutions. What could be more diabolical than informing men and women that there are no inequalities in access? This is what is meant when the Bible refers to feminism as evil. And although the dream of equality is still alive, I see things from a different point of view. In my view, the left and the right are just two sides of the same coin. The problem with modern women is that they continue to promote the idea of us versus them. One side sends out virtue signals about how they are devoted followers of the religion and have high moral standards, while the other side sends out virtue signals about how fantastic they are at being social justice warriors who battle for what they believe in. If women went on a sexuality strike, there would be peace and change, but they can't because they want it just as badly as we do while refusing to participate in the left. This makes it impossible for them to go on such a strike. Women, on the other hand, are not allowed to have that benefit because they are required to have the advantage of diverting the attention of men by playing both roles for both sides. The worst thing that could happen is that you don't take a stance on the issue at all.